The poll on demand destruction, 47% says demand destruction will be because of insufficient market development.
Absolutely, we believe in market development. We don't perhaps believe in some of the initiatives that the industry is driving, but we drive our own market development. And in fact, we've been very, very successful together with Impala. We sponsored the research for the substitution of palladium with platinum, with a view not to really creating platinum demand, that it does automatically, but you've got to look at these metals in a basket, and you've got to get the basket back into balance. We've just signed a long-term strategic alliance with Johnson Matthey. We work with BASF, but not in the traditional investment and jewelry. We spend our own money, and we've created very significant platinum demand from substitution of palladium. The next bit of, let's call it investment we're going to make is substituting rhodium with the surplus palladium. Now that to me is meaningful. So no, we don't belong to some of those industry bodies because we don't agree with the strategy, but we agree with the strategy of market development.
Natasha, I've seen a few CEOs of Anglo-Plat, and the one consistent thing is Anglo-Plat leads market development aggressively and almost philosophically, And I sense you've stepped into that role, and that's the one thing that you have bought in completely as all of your predecessors. So talk to us about the role of you as Anglo-Plats, but the role of the industry in market development.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bernard. And there's always this conversation, because even though we love each other on these panels, there's always this underlying competition on who's doing what. And it's always interesting to hear the background conversations in the offices. But I think ultimately, we do have an accountability towards market development. And perhaps in the past, our strategies were quite different in saying, well, how do we pull all of the money together? The reality is, if it's we as Anglo Platinum that does the market development, or Sibanye or Impala or Royal Bafokeng, we all get the benefit of that market development. And we could argue that pulling it apart a little bit does have a good impact as well. And yes, we are continuing that, and I feel quite bullish, as many of my predecessors have, around the role that we need to play. We continue to support some of the more historical bodies, as Neil has referred to, because we've also seen destruction in platinum demand with not supporting the PGI, for instance, in the way that we used to do in the past. So we will continue to do that. We've seen that IP Ventures, we've spun out the IP Ventures, and in IP Ventures specifically, we have more than 15 companies now actively participating in the development of the hydrogen economy. And so in that hydrogen space, we feel quite bullish, and we've heard Minister Mantashe talking about our hydrogen truck earlier today. And I think that's not only a very important role that we play in the hydrogen, in developing the hydrogen technologies for heavy duty applications. I think there's advocacy in there, and there's obviously it's integral to our own carbon neutrality roadmap. And then we've got the continuous in-house development, where we are actively seeking new applications of our metals. I think the risk for us having all our eggs in one basket around just the ICE vehicle, I think there's a diversification in saying, well, how do we participate in different markets, and how do we develop new markets? We know that everybody is very concerned about the development of battery electric vehicles for the PGM industry specifically, but in that case, we are working with Lion Battery to develop the application or the utilization of palladium in batteries. So I think it's important, and there's a whole range of other applications in food security, in medicine, that we are working on, making sure that we've got a diverse portfolio to, I think, also address the uncertainty on what the market holds. Everybody's quite concerned about value destruction or market destruction with battery electric vehicles coming in, and we feel quite comfortable that short to medium term the demand is still strong, but I do think investing into that next phase of what the future of PGM holds is integral to our strategy around market development.